Alright, so for a review for tomorrow, for the test for tomorrow, we're looking at greatest common factor and least common multiple. So the front side, we have a greatest common factor. Let's see. Waiting on this thing to come back to life. Alright, 50. Number 50, in prime factorization, I'm going to get 2 times 5 times 5. Right? How to get there, I believe you guys know how to get there, so I'm not going to cover it. For 20, prime factorization of 20 is 2 times 2 times 5. I see that they both have a 2 and they both have a 5. So let me multiply that out. How much is 2 times 5? 10. So for greatest common factor, 10. That's it. Now look at question number 2. 35, the prime factorization is 5 times 7. 50 is 2 times 5 times 5. I notice they both have a 5. So my greatest common factor is just 5. Because the greatest common factor, I'm looking for the greatest of small numbers, less. Let me take a look at something like number 3. Prime factorization of 28 is 2 times 2 times 7. 39 is 3 times 13. Do we see anything in common? No. So, since we don't see anything in common, I can technically multiply both of them by 1. Because when I multiply by 1, I don't change anything. Now, what's the greatest common factor? 1. Now we see something that they shared, so 1. Right? If we don't see anything that they shared to begin with, there's always a 1. Alright, looking at number 4, prime factorization of 35 is 3 times 5. 15 I mean, 3 times 5. 42, the prime factorization of 42 is 2 times 3 times 7. What's the greatest common factor of that? 3. Alright, so we have greatest common factor on the front, which is what up until 18. Any questions on the front? No. Okay, I mentioned that greatest common factor is easier than least common multiple. But let me take a look at number 19. So I'm going to look at least common multiple. And I'm going to start it the same way. The prime factorization of 26 is 2 times 13. Prime factorization of 6 is 2 times 3. Once again, I'm going to start it the same. I notice that my greatest common factor is 2, but for least common multiple, I'm going to get my greatest common factor multiplied by everything else that I was not able to get in the group. So I'm going to go 2 times 3 times 13. How much is that? 78. Least common multiple, I'm looking for bigger numbers. Alright, is the small least, is the small or big number? Looking at question number 20, prime factorization of 14 is 2 times 7. Prime factorization of 35 is 5 times 7. So my greatest common factor is 7, but I'll go greatest common factor multiplied by everything else. So how much is 7 times 2 times 5? 7. Right. Let's take a look at number 21. Prime factorization of 40 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Or 25 is 5 times 5. So I see my greatest common factor is 5. But remember, I have to go greatest common factor multiplied by everything else. So I'm going to go times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. What's that? 200. Let me also take a look at number 22. So 30, Prime factorization of 30 is 2 times 3 times 5. 18 is 2 times 3 times 3. I notice that my greatest common factor is 6. Right? Greatest common factor is 6. So go greatest common factor multiplied by everything else. So 9. Thank you. So greatest common factor is easier than least common multiple, just because on the least common multiple, you have to multiply by everything else. Get the greatest common factor, multiply by everything else. Right? So, any questions? I don't remember how big is the test, but if I have to guess, I think it's 10 of each. 10 greatest common factor and 10 least common multiple. Again, any questions? Let me take roll really quick.